All right. One, two, three. Welcome back, guys. It is the Brothers Geek Out podcast, and today's episode is for Love and Thunder spoilers and breakdown warnings. There's going to be loads of spoilers, guys. How you been, G-Man? How's it going?
I've been good, bro. I've been good. Looking forward to talk about this movie. I've got my notes.
Cool.
I've actually got it booked to watch it again later on. But why don't we start off with your overall, quick views of the movie, and then we can go into the notes and the breakdown. What do you think?
Yeah. That's fine, man. So I've seen it twice already. So overall, good, fun, enjoyable movie. There is a few things that I've got questions about, which we can touch base on in the breakdown. But listen, man, good fun, a lot of heart, and it's a light-hearted, fun, action-packed movie. What more can you ask for? It's not as good as Thor Ragnarok. I think Thor Ragnarok was laid out much better, and this movie, for me personally, just felt too short. And I wanted more gore as well. I think Christian Bale was wicked. We see him playing seeing him play a bad guy like that, you just want more of that character. But overall, bro, good fun Marvel movie. Just want to know what direction, this is like their 10th project or something like that for Phase 4. Mm-hmm. Where are they heading?
This one's a bit of a mystery, isn't it? This phase has been a mystery, and I think Kevin Feige said in the upcoming movies or within the next year or something, we'll know where they're heading. Because we all thought it would be obviously the multiversal war with Kang the Conqueror, but it's interesting the approach they've taken. Listen, I agree with you in regards to a fun comedy movie. What I love about the MCU is this is, for me, Thor is MCU's comedy movie, the comedy genre, right? I put Guardians of the Galaxy in there as well. Doctor Strange was a horror genre. You got Black Widow and Captain America as like the spy espionage sort of genre, right?
Yeah.
So this is the comedy genre for me. I did really enjoy it, and I agree. I think Christian Bale's Gore was my favorite. So I would love to have seen him more. But I think, this is a great, fun comedy, easy to watch, heartfelt movie about love. For me, it was about love, loss and love. But let's go through it. I guess let's go through it, and then we can touch base on some of the things you talk about. I got all my lists. So let's quickly go through the breakdown. So it starts with Gore the God Butcher losing his daughter, right? As he was losing his daughter, he was praying. You saw him praying to the gods that he believed in. And he prayed for his daughter. He didn't pray for himself, right? He was asking the gods for his help for his daughter. The god he devoted his life to laughed at him. So then he was able to see the god, which I believe was like the god of, what did he say, sunshine or something. That god ended up laughing at him, saying, just kind of taking a piss. I mean, in their ways, just kind of saying, there's more people to worship me. I mean, your life don't mean nothing. So that's really, right. He lost his faith in that god because his daughter just died, and this god has no sympathy for him. So the god expresses people sacrifice their lives to God all the time, and there will always be more people. And I think straight away the movie, if for me personally, and listen, coming from a religious perspective, I mean, you can't really pull it in these fantasy movies and whatnot, but it does diminish gods out there and stuff like that. But also how do you pull it? It gives them light as well, because Thor technically is kind of like a god in the MCU, and he came to help and save and whatnot. But we'll talk about it more when we get to Zeus. But all those mythology, I don't know if that's the right word, but those gods, they really kind of made them comedic and selfish and arrogant, and really gave Gore the Butcher or anyone to be like, I want to get revenge on these gods. And also Gore was a father. And I'm not saying a father would lose faith if his daughter passes away. This is a whole different thing. But as a father, when I don't know, but God forbid anything, revenge, upset, grievance, all of that goes to another level. I think I spoke about this in my quick review.
You did.
When, love of a daughter is another, or kid is another level. It's a new level of love that I haven't experienced yet, but you have, right? Obviously, I love my wife, my mother, my brother, whatever, but my kid is a different level. God forbid anything happens to that kid, those reactions and those emotions will be another level too. And I think Gore was just he went through that, especially the ones that he thought that could save his daughter was the ones that just laughed at him.
That's right.
Anyway, we see they killed someone that was holding the Necro sword that was just there. So the Necro sword straight away chose Gore. I guess it felt his emotions in that specific moment. It felt his grief, his anger, the betrayal from the gods. So the Necro sword came up to him. It corrupts its user, just like, you know, Wanda and the Darkhold. It corrupts them. You know, interesting, bro. The last two movies, Doctor Strange and this, was about grief and losing someone. Both of them, sorry, my bad, let me turn this phone off.
No,
both of them turned to dark side, right?
Yeah.
Wanda, you know, she lost her kids. She turned to the Darkhold to do whatever she could to get her kids back. Gore, again, this sword gave him the opportunity to get revenge, and he took the opportunity to take it. Thor is a very interesting character because he's lost so much in all the movies, bro. Brother, mother, father, friend, brother again, everything. In this one, spoiler alert, he loses Jane, but he never goes to any dark entity to get things back. So he's true. I really believe he's like a true sort of embodiment of you know, love, I guess, if that makes sense, right? He sees the value of that. I mean, and the missus, I was like, you know, I came out of cinema and I was like, he's a comedic character. Thor is a comedy guy. And she goes, well, how do you not know? He's lost so much. How do you not know he's disguising all his grief with comedy? Everyone else turned to the dark side. Maybe his one is comedy. And I don't know if that's the direction of the movies or the directors, but I'm like, that's an interesting point. So I might do that. I'm gonna do a life lessons with the missus later on and see what her thoughts are on that.
No, yeah, listen, I think personally, what you picked up on a good thing, because me and Ash said the same thing. After we watched, I was like, oh man, I feel for Thor, man. This guy is everybody. Every film he's lost somebody. But he's got this, you know, he's always finding a way of finding motivation to keep moving forward, find love in different forms, finding a purpose to do something. But I don't think the movies are in that direction. Because I mean, in the next four, which it did say, yes, Thor's coming back, spoilers, does the tone change? Does it suddenly, you know, Avengers Endgame was the first time we saw a superhero affected by it. So he did have his grieving process and he did go through what he had to go through, but like now he's come to a different part of his life now. How do we continue this story? You know, and I thought, like for me personally, I thought we would get a bit more of that, but they stuck to the comedy side of things on this one.
It's going to be difficult because Ragnarok was Marvel's favorite. Some people I know, that was their favorite movie, let alone Thor, because 1 and 2 people didn't enjoy it. This turned around so much, it was people's favorite Marvel movie all around. So it'd be difficult to go away from that character, from his comedic character now. So it's interesting where they could take it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Quick carrying on. So Korg opens up with a story about Thor and his adventures, highlighting his loss. This point brushing off, his loss. So it's just what you're talking about. He's got a different purpose now, which is all the loss he's gone through. He's holding it in. He's doing these adventures and whatnot. In the story, he brushes off the Warrior 3, which is a bit of a joke. He was like, that guy. But something was missing in Thor, and that was obviously the love he had for Jane, and it touches on the movie later on. Then he just became a god who went on adventures with the Guardians. What was interesting, that was funny, when they were on that planet, he was meditating and they said, we need your help. My guy flies away like the wicked witch of the West, which is hilarious. And it's funny that Groot's arm grew roots. As Stormbreaker was in the floor. Also, that could have been a joke from, you remember Thor Ragnarok when Korg was talking about him, his hammer, and he was telling how he rides it, and he was like, oh, you get on your hammer and you ride it. Maybe it was a little kickback from that, but that was quite hilarious. Then flies on Thor. He battles along the sides of Guardians of the Galaxy in a showmanship way. It's very showmanship, right? It's like, I'm here, let's go, guys. It's very fun. So it's very showmanship now. The Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. Bro, listen, the music, the Guns N' Roses, it just brought back a lot of music in this, which was super awesome.
They got paid, bro.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, they must have, man. It suits him though. I mean, it's a rock and roll type of movie. I mean, the Marvel logo we talk about, it opened up. Oh, I didn't even talk about it. It opened up in a rock and roll theme. Anyway, so with the guitar and whatnot, so we get a lot of rock and roll in this. His battle was awesome. I love seeing him fight, but it was hilarious. He does the Van Damme splits, and he also done the Van Damme spinning kick. Did you see the spinning kick? That was awesome. So some Van Damme references in there, which was pretty awesome. He he was presented. So yeah, the king, he destroyed their temple and whatnot. So the I can't remember, the king or whatever called him the god of destruction because he destroyed everything. But they presented him his goats, which were hilarious in the movie, the screaming goats.
Yeah.
Obviously, that YouTube was taken from that YouTube clip with them goats scream and whatnot. And obviously, I think in the comics, Thor or whatever, not the comics or even the mythology, he has his two goats. I don't know their names, but they were funny because every time you go into the Bifrost and whatnot, they're like, ah!
Yeah.
So that was hilarious. So they played funny movements in the movie. Guardians get a distress call about Gore, the God Butcher. You see Lady Sif goes on and saying, Thor, we need you, we need you and whatnot, we need your help. So Thor goes to Lady Sif, and then the Guardians go check out some of the other distresses and whatnot. Star-Lord gives Thor a speech about love and losing rather than not loving at all. So just saying it's better to feel shitty about losing love than not feeling love at all.
Right.
So they have a little bit of moment, and Thor gives him that funny handshake, and he's still kind of saying you can take my ship and all this sort of stuff. I guess a bit from end of Endgames where they were discussing who's in charge here. So that was funny. And then you see Jane Foster, and she's doing her cancer treatment. So obviously in the comics, she becomes Thor, same way she developed cancer. Maybe it had something to do with the ether that was in her and all the radiology stuff that she's dealing with. So maybe that's what gave her the cancer. We don't know. I don't know if they mentioned it in the movie.
No,
anyway.
They didn't. And that's another plot hole that they should have covered. Like
so maybe they could have said it was the
But
ether.
no, actually saying that, they didn't really cover it. They said her mum had it, so it said it it's passed
Hereditary.
on. Yeah, I can't say it. My head.
She's doing research on cancer. Dr. Selvig was on a call. All of them are trying to research it. End of the day, she goes to space Viking magic, as Darcy called it, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right.
I think she avoided that until the very end, as a last result. All her research turns to space Viking magic. Minyo, how do you say it again?
You know what? It's a hard one that we still don't know how to pronounce that, which is Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, that's it.
Mjolnir.
Calls her to New Asgard. So we go to New Asgard. We see it as a tourist destination. You see all the gold. I wonder where they get the gold from, because obviously it's turning into Asgard again. But where they getting this gold from, which I found interesting. Are they stealing it from somewhere, or it's interesting.
Yeah.
But you see, we see Valkyrie being the king and doing commercials and all this sort of stuff. You see Matt Damon and Thor's brother. Chris Hemsworth's brother. What's his name? Something Hemsworth. They're doing the play of the beginning scene of Thor Ragnarok where Odin dies and they meet Hela. And you see that lady.
Sam Neill was hilarious as Odin.
Yeah, and then who's the lady that plays Hela? She's hilarious.
Melissa McCarthy or something like that. Yeah.
Hilarious scene, but I guess it gets to show the story of how the hammer broke, how Mjolnir broke. You see Valkyrie as a leader, turn around, you see, and then you get the tour guide around Mjolnir. Jane feels like Mjolnir called her, but also she was summoning it as well. And then you see the sparks of Mjolnir started gathering together and stuff like that. Thor arrives.
We get an explanation why for that later on during a cool story again, don't we?
Yes.
So that, all right, cool. Keep going.
We'll get into that. Because all right, and then Thor arrives at Falgard Dead Scene, straight out of the comics, which was the art piece we saw in the trailer, which is absolutely awesome. He sees Lady Sif. Again, with Lady Sif, her arm was gone. The whole movie was comedy. So even she wanted a warrior's death. And they made a little joke about it, saying that, listen, you only go to Valhalla if you die in battle. Maybe your arm will get there, but you won't. So that's what I'm saying. Every part of Thor, anything to do with Thor, is in a comedic way. You know what I mean? That he's just such a comedy character in these movies. Where am I? I lost myself. Valkyrie, Janus 4. We see
Sif.
Yeah, I've completely lost my notes. Come on, G, get your eyes back to normal. Go. Oh my God, where am I reading? Lady Sif, we see she warns that Asgard is next. Then we see Gore's power as is based around shadows. So they're around Asgard. The shadows turn into these summoning bug monsters and stuff like that. Then there's a battle in Asgard, reunites Valkyrie, and the first time we see her in her pajamas. Thor arrives in his cool Viking outfit, and then it's the first time we see Jane as Thor, which was a lovely scene. We straight away see Thor's love and his vulnerability when he sees Jane and Munyo as well. Even when I can't even say the name, I'm just going to call it Munyo. When he sees the hammer, Munyo. I'm just going to call it Munyo. When he sees the hammer, he's kind of like
Mjolnir.
Yeah. I'm just going to call it the hammer. He seems so happy, like he had someone that come back to him. You know what I mean? Because he's lost so much. He felt like something come back to him. It was very funny because even the hammers and Stormbreakers had love problems in this, because Stormbreaker would just float into the screen when he tried to think. So even Stormbreaker would get jealous. But yeah, we saw the hammer, the movies about love. Then Thor, the battle in Asgard. See Jane, we see Thor's love and vulnerability. The movies of love. Yeah, like I said, it's all about love. Everyone tells their love story. Thor, Jane, Mjolnir, Stormbreaker. Korg, Valkyrie, everyone has a love story. We go into the story of Jane and Thor, again choreographed or narrated by Korg, who's the director, Taiki. So he's narrating the movie. So that's pretty awesome. And then it explains how they broke up, right? The letter and all that sort of stuff. They just got too busy and they go away. And also it explains him whispering to Mjolnir, the hammer, I'm not going to say that name anymore, look after Jane. So that was there. That was the connection. He told her, whatever you do, look up. Just like Odin did when he said, who's worthy, hold the hammer. So he done the same thing, but just said, make sure you look after Jane, which is exactly what the hammer did. Yeah, to protect her from the cancer. So that was interesting. Where am I? Whispering, they have their first battle with Gore, which was awesome. You get a chance to see Gore and his power. Gore kidnaps the children. I thought that was a great fight with Gore. He almost freaking stabbed Thor in the neck, but obviously he wouldn't, because Thor is a hero in the movie. Gore kidnaps the children, which was a plan to lure Thor out there and Stormbreaker, as he needed the Bifrost, right, to open up the gates to eternity, which was his ultimate plan, which was a cost. Eternity, which is awesome that they introduced Eternity, a cosmic abstract entity being in the Marvel universe with his sister Infinity. So he was going to use Eternity to make a wish to get rid of all the gods. That was pretty awesome. Eternity is like the freaking universe, right? So
exactly,
he looked awesome. That was pretty cool. Gore was going to make a wish. Yeah, I said that. The plan. Okay, so then they make a plan to go see the gods. Handel's son. Oh yeah. You see, they were gonna make a plan to see the gods, right? Then you see Handel's son. I didn't even realize it, but Thor does the magic eye thing that he learned from Handel with Handel's son. Handel's son says, "Call me Alex." Or Axel, sorry, because of Guns N' Roses again, right? So Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, so big part of the movie. So he changed his name, even though he was saying, no, your father gave you an honorable Asgardian name. And he was like, no, I want to be called Axel. Then there was a scene with Jane in the mirror, because she could tell Mjolnir, the hammer's making her sick. She can tell already it's making her worse. So she gets upset. Her and Valkyrie have a little moment, girl power moment and whatnot, before they go onto this. They use a tourist boat, which we've seen in the trailer, and they attach Stormbreaker on there to kind of go from the Bifrost, and the two goats that scream and all that sort of stuff, which are hilarious, because every time they get on a planet, they scream. They arrive on an omnipotent city where all the gods get together and have their, god thing or whatnot. But the plan is to get a god army to fight against Gore, the god butcher. We see all the gods in the realm. You see Black Panther god. I think there was a dragon god from Shang-Chi. I don't know if that's correct. You see Celestials. They made a little comment on Jesus. They were like, there's the carpenter god. And then you see all these other gods. I couldn't tell them. You see Korg's god and whatnot. But then you see Zeus played by Russell Crowe, which was absolutely awesome. He put on a great accent, a great Greek accent. But then again, you see all the gods are arrogant. He was so arrogant and, you know, like show off and all that sort of stuff. And it's exactly what Gore doesn't, is why Gore has become who he is, and he wants to kill them all. And Thor was very influenced by Zeus, and he was like excited to meet his hero. Comes down to that thing, never meet your heroes and whatnot. And, you know, they're a bunch of hobbyists, talking about Badusi and whatnot. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But they were arrogant, and even I would want to hate them. I'm like, man, you lot are arrogant pieces of shit. Anyway,
this is not for kids, though. This is not for kids.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, it feels like
it's got adult humor, nudity, those type of words. This is not for kids.
Definitely,
I wouldn't get your 12-year-old to go watch this because it's not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not. Even though it's got kids in it and the rest of it, it just I don't know. It's not. I mean, they maybe not understand it, but still, it's not a kids thing. Because even the scenes with Gore is quite scary.
It is, yeah. I mean, he's such a creepy character. Christian Bale plays him so good. A villain that I wanted to see more of. You mentioned it earlier on.
Same. No, go. Sorry, continue, bro.
But yeah. I mean, we see, you know, Thor. I mean, Chris Hemsworth's definitely done some squats because we see his ass. He's got the tattoo of Loki, rest in peace, and whatnot. But the gods are very, you know, arrogant. He asks them for help. Zeus is aware. They're all fully aware of what's Gorg doing, and he's like, "No, don't worry. Gorg's not going to. He's not going to enter eternity and whatnot." But they're scared, and he says it. They're scared. He's got the Necro sword. We're not going after him. So the gods were just hiding in their place, man, which was made Thor and them lot attack him and say, "Look, we're going to take your weapon," because even they didn't even want to let him use his weapon. But it just shows the really arrogant side of the gods, and Thor is just a different kind of god, if you want to pull it. And he really wants to help people and stuff. So yeah, what else? They asked about Zeus kind of kills Korg. But obviously you find out Korg's life is in his face, which is hilarious, and he ties him around the back of Valkyrie, and he was quite.
That's hilarious. One thing I didn't like as well. It's like you made it a compelling moment for Thor to have even more of a reason, and you kept him alive. I thought they would have just deaded him, man. But listen, Korg's a main part of this story, so he is funny. Just I felt like, you made me think he dead, man. Please.
I was like, oh shit! In the cinema, I was like, oh shit, they killed him. Zeus killed him. Oh my god, I've ordered people to kill him. It was Zeus, but then they go that, what do you call it? Then Thor kills Zeus. Well, we think that he kills him. At the end, we find out we don't. But Thor, he was his hero, and he was supposed to be a god. And I think Thor realized maybe that was a bit of a relation to Gore, because at the end of the movie, they you know, you see that Thor looks after Gore's kid. Maybe there was a little bit of relation of like, I see why you're doing this. The gods let you down. My hero, a god, let me down in the sense he didn't want to help me, and I see it. I think anyway, he kills Zeus, throws his weapon right through him, which is pretty awesome. And then they have an awesome battle. I love the way Jane uses the hammer and it breaks up into pieces. And
that's sick. That is actually sick. I gotta say that part is good.
Very awesome. You see all the gods there bleeding out of gold. So again, it just shows a hierarchy of gods and all that sort of stuff. Valkyrie, she's an awesome assassin and everything. So that was cool. Then they fly out. As they fly out, you see the celestials on the side and everything. So you know, more celestial gods and everything. Where am I? Then you go to where am I?
So they escape. Guns N' Roses comes on again.
Yeah, on the journey. Yeah, so then on that journey, they're going on to the shadow realm, right? Thor and Jane have a moment, an expression their feelings and whatnot. I think Jane at that point tells Thor that she has cancer. So then they have a little romantic moment. Thor tells her how he feels about it and everything. Korg expresses his love story and how they make babies at the end of it. It's hilarious. He makes a baby with Dwayne, which is funny. Makes that character hilarious. They put their hands over some lava or something.
And Valkyrie
talks about Valkyrie talks about, you know, her sister, her love interest in the Valkyrie warriors and whatnot. So everyone was expressing their love at that moment. This whole movie is about love and everything. Then the visuals turned great when they go into the shadow realm. The visuals, I liked it, man. It went to black and white. And
that's Marvel movie to do that.
So cool. It was really cool.
It's a good creative. Very cool.
And then you only see color when they're wielding some of the weapons or some of the thing, but I thought that was awesome. Jane figures out his plan that he needs Stormbreaker to summon the Bifrost to get to hold of eternity. They have a great battle. Gore brings about how the gods let them. Yeah, so Gore kind of traps them all, and he kind of approaches all of them, and you can see in Jane Foster, you're dying, the gods are letting you down. Like he talks to Valkyrie, saying when your sisters were getting killed, there was no gods to help you. Like he's really good at against them, and not like he was trying to influence them, but he's trying to tell them, this is my point. You know what I mean? Like they let you down, they let me down, and whatnot. And same with Thor. So anyway, Jane phones Stormbreaker out. She knew that he needed the Bifrost. Gore forces Thor, all these words, bro, to summon Stormbreaker again. They have a really cool battle against all the bugs and all that stuff. And again, every time he uses the hammer, Stormbreaker, all that stuff is used. You see part of them color up, which I thought was awesome. Some parts still black and white. That was a really great creative aspect that I really enjoyed and I was able to appreciate, because this film was so colorful, but anything to do with Gore was black and white. So I felt like anything outside of Gore was extremely colorful. So they emphasized it so much.
Very good colors again.
I watched it in IMAX 3D. I didn't want to watch it in 3D, but that's all they had. So today I'm going to go watch it in normal 2D, and hopefully I can appreciate the colors a bit more in normal 2D. All right. Where do we go? Then we see Valkyrie get stabbed. We see they have a fight scene. Valkyrie gets stabbed again. I was like, oh shit, are they going to kill a Valkyrie? But she survives that. Jane gets weak. As we find out, holding Mjolnir is accelerating her cancer in her. Thor summons the Bifrost to get out there. Gore comes in and grabs Stormbreaker. It's interesting. We didn't talk about this much, but obviously the Necro Sword is from that Venom king or whatever, right?
That's right.
But they can't, the symbiote king or whatever, but they can't have that because Sony has the rights and whatever. So they've done it a different sort of way. But still, I feel like that sword had a lot of that sword itself had a lot of what's the word? You could tell like there's something in the sword. There's like, how do I put it? It's a calling. Just like, you know, in Eternals, the sword that was calling Black Knight, it was a sword with a spirit in it or something like that, if that makes sense.
That's right.
Yeah. Where are we now? So they go back on Earth. They go back to Earth. Thor expresses his love for Jane. He says, please don't hold Mjolnir again. I want you to live and survive. She wants to be a hero. You know, she knows she's on her final legs, but she's like, if I can go out as a hero, as Thor, let me go out as that. Do you know what I mean? Like just, you know, the one last ride sort of thing. And she's done such great work as a scientist. Now she can make a bit more of an impact in other ways. And she wants to take advantage of that. But Thor at that moment convinces her to stay.
No, and I think that was great. And the one thing about Natalie Portman and playing Jane Foster, the one thing that she did do good in this role was played the fish out of water. So the first time someone being a superhero, excited, catchphrases, they made her look a bit tonks, they made her look a bit taller. You know, they really did her well. I did feel like she was just fun to watch because it'd be like us being a superhero.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was cool. You're right. You're right. And she was trying to make those catchphrases and whatnot, and having that moment with Thor and as who's a real superhero. I mean, it's almost like Kamala Khan when she become a superhero. Just so excited to do that and whatnot. So yeah, that was actually a good point to make. I like Natalie Portman. She looked so good, so comic book accurate, like so costume accurate. It was so good. And obviously it was influenced by Thor, the first movies, or the second movie, should I say. Really great character. I really enjoy Natalie Portman. I mean, look, even though she died, and we're going to get to that in the end, and we'll get to that in the end anyway. Anyway, Thor makes a plan to go alone. Obviously, everyone else is Korg has got a facelift, Valkyrie got stabbed, Jane has got cancer and whatnot. So he goes to go alone. He takes Zeus's weapon with him, the Thunderbolt. Gore is at the tomb to open the gates to eternity with Stormbreaker. And in this tomb, you see the statues of Tribunal, you see Celestial, you see Infinity, you see other statues. I don't know who all of them are, but it looks like
the Watcher was there.
The Watcher was there, yeah.
Yeah. And it felt like there was like a Galactus one, but I don't know. I can't confirm it.
Okay, interesting.
I felt like I saw it, but yeah.
We're getting so much more of these cosmic characters in there, which is pretty awesome. And I think it's going to open up. It always opens up the realm of the cosmic characters that we will get.
And look, listen, bro, Eternity has been spoken about since Ant-Man. So You know,
Yeah,
to
and
see
even the
this,
tribunal from the first Doctor Strange. Remember the weapon of tribunal? So
it really
yeah,
is, they've started to open up much more. We're going to get much more crazy cosmic stories. So yeah, full on, absolutely full on. Keep going, bro.
yeah. I know we've got 10 minutes left. Goddamn
Oh.
Zoom. All right, then look. Thor, throughout the movie, Thor has his moments with the kids. He really kind of displaying almost like a not father, maybe father figure, because at the end of the movie becomes a father figure. He's trying to calm down the kids. They're trying to be not just like trying to make them calm and be playful and happy and whatnot. Almost a little bit like a goofball and whatnot. But he, at the end of the day, he gives them the inspiration that they can all fight as well. He gives them temporarily the power of Thor for them to fight. I wonder if he could have done that with everyone, like even when they were fighting Thanos, like, hey, let me quickly give you guys
His powers grow. They've changed. Different things are happening.
Yeah.
So when I saw that scene, I was a bit thrown off, but it was a good scene though, bro. And again,
It was a fun scene.
Guns N' Roses
Yeah,
smashed it.
definitely. The soundtrack smashed it. I mean, it was a fun scene. And I was a little bit like, oh, the kids really? But it was a great scene in the sense that, I think it just was leading up to him being a father and empowering them and whatnot, and just giving them that confidence of, it doesn't matter if you're Asgardian, because as you saw, there was different alien races there. Because Asgard become Korg spoke about the end of Ragnarok. Asgard can become a home for almost like refugees, alien refugees type of thing.
Right, yeah.
So he said, listen, for now, you're Asgardians, you're warriors, you're you're all equal. And he gave them all the power of Thor. So I thought that was a beautiful moment, just an inclusion, beautiful moment. Great battle with Gore. I loved it. I do love the battle scenes that they have. Jane can feel Thor in battle. He's getting battered a little bit. She sacrifices her life. She takes Mjolnir. She knows it's going to kill her, but she does it because that is what a hero does. They break the Necro sword. Immediately, I think that takes off a little bit of the corruption of Gore, even though he was already corrupted completely, but it took off a little bit of the corruption. At that point, Gore's already summoned Eternity using Stormbreaker and whatnot. Thor ends up taking Stormbreaker, gives it to Axel for him to use it to get home. It seems like everyone could wield Stormbreaker, but he gives it to Axel to go home. They open the gate. They go to the realm.
No, but he could take it. He was Heimdall's son, so he was using his vision. Yeah, so that's why it worked.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go to the realm, which looked like the Soul Realm, but it was a blue version of the Soul Realm or whatnot. Maybe it was the Tesseract. I don't know, like the Time Realm or something. I don't know. But that was a beautiful, peaceful scene. And then the reason why Gore realized he's doing this is out of loss of his life. So I think what happens at this scene, right? This is what I took away. Obviously, Gore was about to make the wish to get rid of all the gods. He sees Natalie Portman, Jane Foster dying. He sees the love between Thor and Jane and what he's about to lose. And, obviously the Necro Sword's gone, so a bit of the corruption's gone. And Thor does give him the idea, you can wish for all of us to die, or you can wish for your daughter to come back. But I think at that moment, both each other kind of realized, Thor realized that he's lost a lot. He's lost his daughter and gods have let him down, right? And I think he wanted to, even though he was fighting him, I felt like he felt like a responsibility of inspiring again, showing that we're not all the same. And he was like, do what you want to do. I'm going to spend my last moments with the love of my life, which was Jane. And I think Gore saw that and, made him realize, I should wish for my daughter back rather than wish for everyone else to die. To give his daughter life again. And bro, like that was a touching moment. And when he said, I'm dying, she's gonna be alone. And Jane Foster said, no, he's not. And then Thor and Gore kind of were like nodded head. That got me emotional. I mean, very emotional because it's so beautiful that at the end, Thor realized this is a father in pain. And his daughter's an innocent child. I'm gonna look after her. I'm gonna take her in as my own. I thought that was beautiful.
No, it was lovely. It's good. The only thing that throws me off is like these MCU bad guys getting all killed off and not continuing their story, because I would have loved to see more of Gore. A little bit more intro about Gore, about his journey killing these gods, seeing him actually kill those gods. Like that would have been interesting to see. We only got little clips in the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. It was like, it would have been nice to see a bit more of that. But no, very touching scene, bro. You know, as a father, I'd get emotional as well. It's like, you know, what can you do, and how far do you go to do something? You know what I mean?
That's it.
Like, there's a way
Yeah.
of speaking to people. There's a way of dealing with situations. Do I go out of hand to you know? I'll do anything for her, but like, how far do you go? You know,
Well, I mean, listen,
yeah.
man. Yeah, no, go on, bro.
And yeah, it's just that how far you look to go, where it could take you, and anger and revenge and all of that, bro. It becomes a very dangerous stepping stone, bro. So
No
yes,
doubt. I
some
mean,
people.
I honestly, then I feel the Necro sword, even though he was angry enough, I think the Necro sword influenced all that more. But you know, it was his daughter dying, and the god that he worshipped at that moment was taking the piss.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Combination of that and some corruption.
you lose.
What you gonna like? You know, it's messed up, man.
To lose. And
But
they
I
did,
agree.
yeah, that element of it infecting him like it would have any like venom or symbiote would have. That's what was happening. But listen, I think
Definitely.
it was a great moment, very touching moment. Bro, that scene I actually felt for Thor a lot.
Yes, he lost
I
so
felt for
much. He
Thor a
keeps
lot, and I
losing.
was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, man, this guy, you know, that was the only part where his humor didn't kick in, and it was perfect. I'm glad they didn't. You know, they had a little joke between themselves, but it wasn't anything to ruin the scene. It was
Yeah.
a really good scene.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like, you know, Gore turned to corruption, Wonder turned to corruption. Thor keeps losing, but he doesn't turn to any sort of entity to get everyone back. I think he's just, you know, he's absorbing the love. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He's understanding that I had this love, I had this moment. I'm
Hmm.
gonna keep carrying on and whatnot.
Well, it's what's
So
his name said, isn't it? Star Lord said, you know, be shitty about something. I'd rather be shitty about something than
then
not
nothing
having it
at
at
all,
all. You know what I mean?
because he
So
pushed away love. He
yeah,
kept pushing it away.
yeah.
Right, we got 3 minutes left, real quick. Gore goes, Thor agrees to look after his daughter. Back on Earth, we see Korg reform again. He's making a baby with Dwayne, which is hilarious. Valkyrie leading again as a king. Thor goofs around. Thor and Love.
Yeah.
Thor and Gore's daughter is Love and Thunder. That's what the title is.
Yeah.
So he has that moment with her. He makes her pancakes just like a little daughter and whatnot. In the dream earlier or the story with Jane, he was making pancakes for her. So it's kind of relation to that. But yes, that's his real daughter, by the way. You know that Chris Hemsworth's
Yeah, I
real
found
daughter.
that. Yeah, I found that.
But yeah, look, he teaches her the ways to be good, and they're going to save and whatnot. Some people in the comics, Thor does have real daughters and whatnot. It's not really Gore's daughter, but this I thought was a nice little element. I really like the way they've done that, because it does justify Gore, not justify, but it doesn't make Gore as evil as he is. I agree, as you said earlier. I wish we could see more of Gore, because Bale done him amazing. But anyway, that's the way that is. And then look, some in the credit scenes, you see one end credit scene with Zeus upset, and he talks to Hercules. And I thought we were going to see Hercules in the movie. Hercules is played by Brett Goldstein. And obviously that leads on to maybe 4 or 5, or just Hercules showing up somewhere in the MCU somewhere. And then we get one more last scene of Jane going to Valhalla, who is welcomed by Heimdall, which I thought was a nice moment. In the comics, she becomes a Valkyrie, but I think Odin takes her out of Valhalla and makes her a Valkyrie. So that's an opportunity for Jane to come back as a Valkyrie or whatnot. But we get to see that. So it doesn't really kill off those characters, really. I mean, they could, you know, those characters could come back. But, you know, that leads us up to the future of Thor, or maybe some future MCU movies. She comes back as Valkyrie. Hercules comes to fight Thor, whatever. But that was it. That was the end of the movie. Overall, really enjoyable. I'm gonna go watch it again. I know how funny it is, so I know I can sit for another 2 hours of watching it. It's such an easy watch to watch. But I do agree, you know, he has become the comedic value of the MCU, and it's hard to see where you're gonna take his character. Does he ever get serious? Does he ever get into a position where there's no comedy left? So
yeah. Well, no, I mean, there could be comedy, but it's where they take it from there, man. And a bit longer, man. Give us 2.5-hour movies, man. Allow these 2-hour movies. Just felt
apparently
a bit rushed.
4-hour cut. Apparently there's a 4-hour cut that he had to cut down. Apparently, that's what I read.
And give me the 4 hours, man. Allow this 2-hour business. But anyway, guys, massive thank you again. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like this, click like, dislike, comment. But we'll catch you on the next episode. One love. Peace. All right, G-Man, I'll send you the next link. I need to take a poo-poo. So give me like 10 minutes.
Do it. Let me know.
All right.